Evaporation causes cooling. Why? We know that evaporation is the process of conversion of liquid into vapor at any temperature below its boiling point. Without boiling, evaporation will take place. Now we can discuss what is the reason for the evaporation. Then only you can understand what is the reason for this cooling effect. Evaporation is a surface phenomena. It will take place only on the surface, right? When the water molecule is converting into water vapor, it is absorbing energy from the surrounding. That's the reason for the cooling effect of evaporation. And when the water vapor is escaping from the water surface, when the liquid is escaping from the liquid surface, this liquid loses some energy. That energy it will absorb from the surrounding. Now evaporation is taking place. This liquid is losing some energy, some of energy. To balance that energy, it will absorb energy from the surrounding. It is absorbing energy. Means the surrounding is going to become cool. The particles of liquid absorb energy from the surrounding to regain the energy lost during evaporation. This absorption of energy from the surrounding make the surrounding cold. Now we can go for the next question. Why should we wear cotton clothes during summer? We know that during summer it's too hot, right? We cannot adjust with that temperature sometime and sweating will be there. It's very difficult to adjust. That time if we are wearing cotton clothes, it will help to evaporate this sweat. It will increase the cooling effect. Evaporation causes cooling, right? During summer, we perspire more because of mechanism of our body which keeps us cool. Sweating will be there. It's a mechanism of body which keeps us cool. During evaporation, the heat energy equal to the latent heat of vaporization is absorbed from the body, leaving the body cool. During this evaporation, that evaporation need energy. That energy absorbed by the water from the body. So the body will be cool. Cotton is good absorber of water. It will absorbing sweat and exposing it to the atmosphere for easy evaporation. That's the function of cotton cloth. It will absorb all the sweat and it will expose sweat to the atmosphere and evaporation will be very easy. Why do we see water droplets on the outer surface of glass containing ice cold water? If you are taking some ice cubes in glass, you can see water droplets on the surface of glass. What is the reason behind it? You can see here there are water droplets, right? The reason is now when we are adding ice cubes to the glass is very cold, right? When it is very cold, it will help to condense. Condensation means conversion of water vapor into water. In the atmosphere there are water vapors. These water vapors are going to come in contact with this glass and that water vapor will convert into water droplets. It's a glass of water which is cold water. It is cold water and in the atmosphere there are water vapor. When this cold water is interacting with this water vapor is going to convert into water droplets. You can see water droplets on the surface. The water vapor present in the air on coming in contact with a cold glass of water loses energy and gets converted to liquid state, which we see as water droplets. Which of the following are matter? Chair, air, love, smell, hate, almonds, thought, cold, cold drink, smell of perfume. Chair is a matter because it needs space, it is having mass, so it is a matter. Air is a matter, it's having mass and it needs space. Love, it's a feeling, it's not a matter. Smell, it's a feeling, it's not a matter. Hate, it's a feeling, it's not a matter. Almonds, it is having mass and it is having volume also, so it is a matter. Thought, it's a feeling, it's not a matter. Cold, it's a feeling, it's not a matter. Cold drink is a matter because it is liquid. Smell of perfume, it's a feeling, smell is feeling, so it's not a matter. So matter are chair, air, almonds and cold drinks. Give reason for the following observation. The smell of hot sizzling food reaches you several meters away, but to get the smell from cold food, you have to go close. Hot food is having good smell, but cold food, you cannot get that smell, you need to go close, right? What is the reason behind it? When someone is cooking in the kitchen, you can get the smell, but if you are opening your refrigerator, you are not going to get the smell, right? The reason is, when there is high temperature, each particle is going to get high kinetic energy. High kinetic energy means this particle is going to move. The motion of the particle is more if it is having kinetic energy. First, you need to know what is diffusion. Diffusion is the process of transfer of particle from higher concentration to lower concentration. If in one region there are more number of particles, that particle will transmit from that region to the other region which is having less number of particles. It is known as diffusion. Diffusion is a process of movement of particle from high concentration to low concentration. If the temperature of matter is increased, then rate of diffusion of particle into air increases. This is due to an increase in kinetic energy of particle. Each particle is going to get kinetic energy, the ability to move, that is kinetic energy. Hence, the smell of hot sizzling food reaches us even at a distance. But to get the smell of from cold food, we have to go close. Cold food means low temperature, low kinetic energy. If you are writing the answer in the exam, you can always explain with the help of kinetic energy. You need to explain kinetic energy, then you can consider the particles. The particles are having kinetic energy. Because of that, the particles are able to move from one place to another. The process of movement of particle from high concentration to low concentration is known as diffusion. It's a very important question. A diver is able to cut through water in a swimming pool. Which property of matter does this observation show? Diver means those who are jumping into water. Sea diver. He is able to jump into water, but if he is jumping onto the floor, what is going to happen? We are going to observe that. There's a diver and he is jumping into water. In water, you can see the spaces between the particle. Because of these spaces, diver is able to cut through the water. But just imagine the diver is jumping to solid. What is going to happen? You cannot see any spaces in between the particle, right? There is no space. When he is jumping onto that solid and he is going to hit on the solid and there will be injuries, right? So we can conclude that the particles of matter have intermolecular spaces. The intermolecular spaces in liquids is fair enough to let the diver pass through it. The intermolecular space in liquid is fair enough, means between that gap, between the space, the diver can move. What are the characteristics of the particles of matter? We already discussed it. First point, all matter is made up of particles. Particles of matter have spaces between them. Particles of matter are continuously moving. Particles of matter attract each other. These are the three properties. The mass per unit volume of substance is called density. Density equal to mass by volume. Arrange the following in the order of increasing density: air, exhaust from chimney, honey, water, chalk, cotton and iron. Which is having more density, which is having less density? That you need to write. You need to write in the increasing order of density. So first one will be which is having less density, that will be the first one. Which is having less density here? Air, exhaust from chimney, honey, water, chalk, cotton and iron. Air is having less density, right? So first one is air, and exhaust from chimney, it is having some of the impurities, so it will have more density compared to air. And cotton, water, honey, chalk and iron. Iron is having more density because it is a solid. Chalk is also solid, but there are gaps between the particles compared to iron. Tabulate the differences in the characteristics of states of matter. Comment upon the following: rigidity, compressibility, fluidity, filling a gas container, shape, kinetic energy and density. We already discussed about the properties of matter. We are going to discuss in the form of table. Solid, liquid, gas. Solids are having definite shape and volume. Liquids are not having definite shape, but it is having definite volume. For gas there is no definite shape and definite volume. Solids are incompressible. Liquids are compressible to an extent, and gases are highly compressible. Intermolecular spaces are very less in solid. Intermolecular spaces are more compared to solid in liquid. Gas, large intermolecular spaces. Solid. The strong intermolecular attraction, the attractive forces between the particles are more in solid, and in liquid it is weak, and in gas it is very weak. Particles are not free to move in solid. In liquid, particles are free to move to an extent. Gas, particles are free to move everywhere. Now we can discuss some of the property of matter. First one, rigidity. It is a property of matter to resist the change of its shape when we are applying pressure. If the matter is not ready to change its shape, then we can say that it is rigid matter. Example, solid. All solids are rigid. Kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is the energy of an object because of movement. It is the energy of particle of matter due to its motion. Compressibility. When we are applying pressure, it is the ability to change its volume, ability to decrease its volume. That is compressibility. It is a property of matter in which its volume is decreased by applying force. Shape. All solids are having definite boundaries. That is definite shape. Fluidity. It is the ability of matter to flow. Filling a gas container. On filling, a gas takes the shape of container. When we are filling a gas in a container, the shape of gas will be same as the shape of container. Density. It is a ratio of mass to volume. A gas fills completely in the vessel in which it is kept. Why? When we are filling a gas into a vessel, the gas will spread inside the vessel and the gas will take the shape of that vessel. Why? The reason is very simple. All matter is consists of particles, right? Gas is also having particles. And the property of particles of gas is it is having high kinetic energy. Each particle is having high kinetic energy and it is free to move everywhere. When we are filling gas into a vessel or into a container, the particles of gas are going to move everywhere and it will take the shape of the container. The force of attraction between the particles of gas is negligible. Because of this, particles of gas move in all directions, so gas fills the vessel completely in which it is kept. Gas exert pressure on the walls of container. Why? We know that particles of matter are continuously moving. When they are moving, if we are considering example of gas, any gas, the particles are continuously moving. We are taking the gas inside the container. And when the particles are moving, it will hit on the walls of container. Let's see that. Here, these particles are hitting on the walls of container. Because of that, there will be pressure outside. Particles of gas move randomly in all directions at a high speed. As a result, the particles hit each other and also hit the walls of the container with force. That is the reason for pressure. A wooden table should be called a solid. It is a wooden table. We need to call it as a solid. Why? Wooden table is having a definite shape, right? It is having a definite shape. It is not going to change. It is not compressible. So we can say that it is a solid. It is having fixed shape and fixed volume. These are the properties of solid, so it is a solid. We can easily move our hand in air, but to do the same through a solid block of wood, we need karate expert. When we are moving the hand through the air, no block, nothing, it's very easy to move. But when we are doing the same through a solid block of wood, we cannot do that. We need a karate expert. Why? In solid, we can say that these particles are closely packed. There is no space between the particle. In the case of air, there are spaces between the particles. So it is very easy to move our hand through the air. But in the case of solid, we need a karate expert because the space between the particles are very less. Means the particles are closely packed. There is no space between the particles. Particles of air have large spaces between them. In solids, particles are closely packed and it is rigid. Liquids generally have lower density as compared to solid, but you must have observed that ice floats on water. Find out why. When an object will float on water, if it is having less density, solids are having more density. There is no chance to float because all solids are having more density. It is going to sink inside the water. But in the case of ice cube, when we are taking ice cube and when we are putting that ice cube into water, it is going to float on water. Why? The reason is ice cube is having a specialty. Only in the case of water, it is known as abnormal expansion of water. In the case of ice cube, there is gap between the particle. If there are gaps between the particle, the density will be less. Ice cubes are having less density compared to water. The density of ice cube is less than water, so it will float on water. Ice, which is a solid, has vacant spaces between the water molecules, so ice is lighter than water. Convert the following temperature to degrees Celsius. We need to convert the following temperature 300 Kelvin and 573 Kelvin to degrees Celsius. How we can convert degrees Celsius to Kelvin? There is an equation for that. The equation is degree Celsius equal to Kelvin minus 273. Degree Celsius equal to Kelvin minus 273. We can substitute the values in this equation. First we can go for 300K. How we can convert that? 300 minus 273. Instead of this Kelvin we are giving this 300, then it will be 300 minus 273, 27 degrees Celsius. Then B, 573. It will be degree Celsius equal to 573 minus 273. Right? 573 minus 273, 300 degrees Celsius. Instead of this K, we can give this value. What is the physical state of water at 250 degrees Celsius and 100 degrees Celsius? There are two temperatures. Before the discussion, we need to know about boiling point of water. Boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius, right? It means at 100 degrees Celsius, the water is going to convert into vapor. It will boil. Boiling means conversion of water into vapor at boiling point. In first case, question A, the temperature is 250 degrees Celsius, which means it is more than boiling point. All water at 250 degrees Celsius, all water will be in the form of vapor. Then we can say that boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius, 250 degrees Celsius is above the boiling point, physical state will be gas. Now we can discuss about 100 degrees Celsius. At 100 degrees Celsius, 100 degrees Celsius is the boiling point of water and it will be converting into vapor. So we can say that both states are possible. 100 degrees Celsius water is possible. At the same time, 100 degrees Celsius vapor is also possible. Boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. At this temperature, water can exist in both liquid and gaseous form. For any substance, why does the temperature remain constant during the change of state? When a liquid is converting into gas, when a solid is converting into liquid, in these two cases, the temperature remains constant. In these two cases, temperature remains constant for some time. When the temperature is reaching to melting point, when the temperature is reaching to boiling point, in this region, the temperature remains constant. Why? That's the question. Here we can observe this graph. First, the temperature, when we are increasing heat, the temperature is increasing. At this particular point, the temperature remains the same. Then after that, it is increasing again. At this particular point, temperature remains the same and it is increasing again. It's a graph. So we can say that in these two regions, temperature remains the same. This point is boiling point and this point is melting point. We are taking a solid. Solid is converting into liquid. First, the temperature of solid is increasing. At melting point, it is converting into liquid. Means temperature remains the same. And after that, it is converted into liquid. Then again, the temperature is increasing. At this point, boiling point, the temperature remains the same, converting, and the liquid is converting into vapor. Then again, the temperature is increasing. It is a process. Why does the temperature remains constant during the change of state? Heat energy used by matter to change its state by overcoming force of attraction between the particles of matter. To convert the state, they need to overcome the force of attraction between the particles. For example, if the solid is converting into water, if the solid is converting into liquid, there is a force of interaction between particles inside the solid. If the particles are overcoming the force of attraction between the particle, then only it will convert into liquid. For that, they need heat energy. All the heat energy which we are supplying on that time, it will utilized by the matter to convert into liquid. In the case of liquid also, when we are applying heat at the boiling point, all the heat it will use for overcoming the force of attraction between the particles of matter. Then it will change into vapor. Suggest a method to liquefy atmospheric gases. The method is very easy. We need to increase the pressure and we need to reduce the temperature. When we are applying pressure and at the same time if we are reducing the temperature, we can convert gas into liquid. Why does a desert cooler cool better on a hot dry day? First we need to know how desert coolers are working. These are normal fan, but the difference is they will spray water droplets also. It will be working like a normal fan, but it will spray water droplet. These water droplets will evaporate and it will cause cooling effect. That is the working of desert cooler. If it is hot dry day, the evaporation will be more, the rate of evaporation will be more. Then on hot dry day, it will work better. Desert cooler increases the humidity of the surrounding air, and humidity means water content. The water content will be more, and this water will be evaporating. That time it will produce cooling effect. It is working based on cooling effect of evaporation. On hot and dry day, moisture level is very low in the atmosphere. It will increase the rate of evaporation of water from the cooler. So cooler works well during hot and dry day. The water kept in earthen pot become cool during summers. What is the reason? That's the question. If we are taking water inside this pot, matka, when we are taking water inside this pot, the surface is having a specialty. This surface is having small holes. The surface is made up of clay and it is having small pores. There are some pores in an earthen pot. It will increase the rate of evaporation. The water vapor will evaporate, and evaporation requires some energy. That energy the water will absorb from the water which is kept inside the pot. Water can evaporate through these pores. The evaporation makes the water inside the pot cool. Why does our palm feel cold when we put some acetone, petrol or perfume on it? These liquids evaporate at low temperature. When we are putting these liquids on our palm, it will evaporate as soon as possible. And evaporation needs some amount of heat. That heat it will absorb from our body, from our palm. That's the reason for cooling effect. These liquids evaporate at low temperature. If we put some acetone or petrol or perfume on our palm, it will absorb heat from our palm for evaporation, so our palm feel cold. Why are we able to sip hot tea or milk faster from saucer than a cup? The rate of evaporation will be more. It will increase the cooling effect. A liquid has larger surface area in saucer than in a cup. Rate of evaporation increases with increase in surface area. The rate of evaporation will be more if there is more surface area. Tea in saucer will become cool faster. What type of clothes should we wear in summers? We need to wear cotton clothes. The reason is it will increase the rate of evaporation of sweat. During summer, the rate of sweating will be more during summers. Cotton is a good absorber of water. It will absorb the water. It will expose that water for evaporation. It will make the body cool. During summer, we perspire more because of the mechanism of our body which keeps us cool. Sweating will be there. During evaporation, the heat energy equal to the latent heat of vaporization is absorbed from the body, leaving the body cool. Cotton is a good absorber of water. It absorbs the sweat and exposes it to the atmosphere for easy evaporation. Subscribe our channel for getting instant notification of sample paper solution and support us for providing free online classes to everyone. www.winpointonlineclasses.com